Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. So in this one, we'll get into the latest updates. We have the mid-month update today, info on the Vassal hard fork, new node version. I'll talk a bit about that. Mark Cuban talking about Dogecoin having more application than, or more potential application than Cardano. It did spark off some good conversations, especially between himself and Mickey, the CEO of World Mobile. So I'll talk about that and some of the information that came out on that. CPI data was better than expected this week, which gave the markets a nice boost as well. We'll touch on that towards the end. Timestamps will be below. If you think others can benefit, please do share it out. Give the video a like, comment below, even for the algorithm. I do appreciate it. Let's jump into it. Okay, just before we get into the content that will be timestamped below, I will be getting back to more regular content fairly soon. Summer is only a few weeks left. Kids will go back to school. I'll be in the office, a lot more structured time-wise then as well. So let me know the type of content you would like to see. I'm still here every day, still replying to messages, active on Twitter and everything like that as well. So questions, I'm still getting them out, just not getting as much video content out there, but that will change fairly soon as well. So in the mid-month update, we heard from the usual gang as well, talking about the new node version that came out yesterday. So we got a new node version yesterday, 1.35.3, which probably will be the version that goes to be the version for the Vassal hard fork. It's looking, they didn't give us a date, didn't really give us a timeline, but if this one is confirmed in the next week or that, probably looking at early September would be my own guess on this. But I'll talk as soon as I get any official dates or anything like that, I will put them out there as well. Very best case would be end of August, but I would say more likely would be early September. So as well, they did talk about the other versions, the other 1.35 versions that came out, which was 1.35.0.1 and .2. If you upgraded to them on the mainnet, they were only meant for testnet. There are some issues with them, so please do upgrade to 1.35.3 as soon as possible, because this fixes them issues, and it probably will be the hard fork version as well. So when will we actually know what the hard fork version is? So I've talked about these metrics before. The SPOs, they need 75% of the nodes upgraded. Exchanges, they need 25 exchanges, which is about 80% of the liquidity. And this should all start to kick off next week. Expected updates starting next week once Node, Rosetta and WBE are released. So details and all that type of stuff is in the call. The first, I think it's 11 minutes, is about the Vassal upgrade, where we are, what's going on, the different test environments as well. But I won't get into all of them details here. And then there are some projects on talking at the end of the update as well. So that's the summary on that. The summary on Vassal is we think now we have the stable node version that will be the one for the hard fork. Final tests are happening. Currently, they don't have any category 1 to 3 bugs or issues on it, which is really good. So hopefully it remains like that for another week or so, and that will be confirmed then as the hard fork candidate. So then moving on to Dogecoin has more potential applications than Cardano, according to Mark Cuban. So this all came about from an interview he'd done on Altcoin Daily, which was really good, worth taking a look at as well. Lots of outlets jumped on this part here. I still think Doge has got more applications potentially available to it than Cardano. So this makes for a good headline, gets lots of attention as well. They do leave out, lots of them do leave out this as their headline, where he says that the next great application that everyone uses could be built on Cardano. The door is open for that to happen, but it hasn't happened yet, he said. So look, we can't ignore the fact that Cardano has less going on it in terms of DeFi than lots of other chains out there. So yes, if people are being honest, we are a bit behind in terms of what has previously happened with DeFi. But that should all change very soon for Cardano. We've talked about this a lot on the Vassal hard fork, what it's going to bring. It's really going to allow a lot more complex DeFi launching on top of Cardano. It's bringing a lot of big improvements to the chain that I'm not going to get into here, but the different SIPs that are there will make a huge improvement, as well as help with scaling as well, with different things that are coming later in the year as well. So if you go through some of, so there was negativity on this, there was toxicity, fighting over and back from different people as well. But one thread that sparked a lot of good conversations was Adam Dean's thread here. So he just started a separate thread, get away from toxicity, says he's an average person in the Cardano community, and to talk about Cardano in any questions that needed to be answered. So Mark came in and said that what he said was factual. And look, if you look at some of the metrics that are used to decide what happens on other chains, like TVL is the standard one for DeFi, what is the total value locked? If you look at Solana, there were stories there lately of two brothers who controlled 80% of the TVL on Solana at one time by creating different applications. Stage didn't reveal themselves as the owners of everything, so maybe not the best metric overall, but definitely one that has some value. Cardano will get there as well. There's a lot building on Cardano, but if you're not involved in the community, then you're not going to know of everything that's going on. So I can't blame people for saying that Cardano is behind in terms of everything that's happening, or DApps. Yes, we do have DApps, and we have some really good ones on chain as well, and a lot of really good ones building, and will come over the next months and next years. So Adam talks here about some of the ones that are there and some of the ones that are building. Mark comes back then and says about that you're proving the point that they aren't anything innovative. And right now, we don't have anything majorly innovative. There are some cases of innovative DApps there, and some that have features planned that will come into play over the next while as well, that will change how things have happened previously. So he starts talking about what he really wants to see is real world use cases. So what applications actually can be used in the real world and interact with blockchain and the real world. So someone, AS33 here, mentions World Mobile Token. And Mark says about, is the revenue from actual real people using the network? Talks about Helium having a complete network, but not having any revenue generating activities. So then this is where Mickey steps in and the conversation really gets good. And I liked how the interaction went here. A lot of times when people talk about Cardano, they use it as a way to attract attention. And maybe Mark done this a bit as well, but he wasn't completely dismissive like others are. They've already made up their mind when they make the thread or make the tweet to say something negative about Cardano. But Mark was very open-minded and wanted people to give him back information. And Mickey done really, really well with what he gave him with the information. And I enjoyed getting the latest information on World Mobile as well, because it is a project that I've talked about a bit here on the channel. I've had Mickey on as well. I've had Zach on, and I will do a dedicated video on World Mobile fairly soon, maybe next week. I'm just waiting for World Mobile token scan to come out, which will be able to show us what's actually happening on the network. But some of the screenshots here will show you that as well. So Mickey talked about the average revenue per user being approximately $3 per month. Currently fine-tuning their sharing economy and have 150 nodes up in East Africa. This is 3x what Helium is making monthly with their over 500,000 nodes, or they have less than 150 nodes, he says here. Financial services are inbound, which can easily double the ARPU. Let's talk. So he was trying to get the conversation going all the time. So then Mark talks about if you're doing that with 2 users, it gives you the same. He's all for success stories, but no one starts at the top. So look, there is a really big thread here that talks all about the different questions. There was a lot of over and back. This one here is one of the parts I really like to see. Mickey put this in here. This was showing an overview of Zanzibar. So it was great to see actual data from the network. This was over the last 24 hours, the total network consumption, the unique users, and then the network uptime you can see here. So this is the type of stuff we will be able to see with World WMT Scan, which is coming soon. From what I've heard, it should be next week. And as soon as I have that, I'll take a bit of time going through it, and then I'll create a dedicated video going through it all and some of the data that we can see there as well. The actual network, we're hoping testnet will come out over the next, I suppose I can't put a time frame on it. I'd love to see it out in the next few weeks so we can start spinning up the nodes on that. I will be operating an Earth node in the network, so looking forward to being a part of that network as well. What I'll do is I'll put links to these different threads here if you want to check out the information. You can see here Mickey talking more about information of what's actually happening, mentions the Earth nodes there, and the over and back. I'm not going to read you through it here. Other people have already done that. One video that was really good on that was Dan's video here over on Crypto Capital Venture. I'll put a link to that one down below. He goes through the thread and the different questions over and back and does a good job of commentating it all there. Also, City AM have put out an article on it, picking out some of the most important parts of that as well. So I'll put a link to that one down below as well for people who want to check out all of that info too. So just before finishing up as well, we will talk about the CPI data that came out this week and the impact it had. So if you told someone this time last year or 2 years ago that a rise of 8.5% year on year was going to be seen as a good thing in the market and actually give the market a boost, they would have thought you were crazy. But after what has happened in the last year, the inflation we've seen, everything like that, this has been seen as a good thing, because for July, the CPI data came out as 8.5% year on year, which was flat compared to June. That showed that it wasn't increasing. So the first time it hasn't increased in a while. This was after the expectation of 8.7%. So this was seen as a real positive in the market. We'll wait and see what happens next. We have seen that some things have started to come down, the price of fuel and things like that, but it is only a small snapshot in time. We'll give it another month or so and see what happens, but it's a very welcome piece of data in the overall markets right now. If we look at Bitcoin, had been still bouncing since the lows back here in June, and the data coming out here on the 10th really give the market a nice push to the upside again, and still waiting to see, can we push up towards the $28,000 to $31,000 range. If we can get there, that will be a very good sign for the market if we could actually break through this area here. I might do a dedicated price video next week. This video is running a bit longer than I wanted. I wanted this to be a quick update, but I'll start getting back on individual videos on different topics. So my list has World Mobile once WMT scan comes out, one looking at the charts, everything like that as well. And if there's any guests you want to see me bring onto the channel, make sure and let me know. I did sit down with Eric from Indigo Protocol last night, so I'll be putting that video out tomorrow. Got some great updates from Eric on how they're going, where they are. They are feature complete, so they will be one of the first projects to go live, I would say, after the Vassal hard fork. So looking forward to seeing that, and I will put a link to that one down below once it comes out tomorrow as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Share it out if you think others can benefit. Give it a like, comment, anything you want down below. I do appreciate it. Talk to you soon.